Hello dear students. So in the last class we had discussed the forces due to magnetic field. Okay, there were three ways we had discussed. Now today we shall discuss the magnetic torque acting on a rectangular loop. Okay, so today's topic of discussion is magnetic torque acting on the rectangular loop. Okay, so the torque or mechanical amount of force on the loop is the vector product of the force and the moment arm R. That is this T equals to this R cross F. Okay, so the unit is Newton meter. So the torque or mechanical moment of force on the loop is the vector product of this force F and the moment arm R. So let a rectangular loop of length L and width W placed in uniform magnetic field B. Okay, so there is a uniform magnetic field B and a rectangular loop of length L this is a rectangular loop which is of length L and width W, so it is placed in this magnetic field B. Okay, and let this be the axis is your Z axis. Okay, so let this be the Z axis and the rectangular loop is A, B, C, D. Okay, and the direction of current is this. Direction of current in the loop is this. Okay, now the rectangular loop of length L and width W placed in uniform magnetic field B, since current is flowing in the rectangular loop in the direction A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A. Okay, and the axis of this current loop is along Z axis. Okay, so there will be a couple of forces acting across this. So let this be F0, then equal and opposite side it is F0 acting upward. Okay, so this is producing a couple of force. Okay, more clearly if we want to understand it more clearly, we can draw it like this, that let this be a magnetic field B. Okay, and let us suppose this is the rectangular loop along width. Okay, so at this point current is entering the node and at this point current is leaving. Okay, and let this be W. So I have made this along the width wise. Okay, let's say AB. Okay, so along AB if I write this, then this F0 pointing in upward and downward, making the couple of force can be represented like this. Okay, and if we extend this as the right angle triangle, then the direction will be along AN, which is perpendicular to this, making an angle alpha. Okay, so this angle will also be alpha. Now if we consider an element DL which is parallel to B along the sides AB and CD of the loop, and no force is exerted on these sides. Okay, this AB and CD along these two sides, no force is exerted because these two sides are parallel to this magnetic field B. So the force will be due to these two sides only, BC and AD. Okay, so for BC and AD, if we write it, if we consider, then the force can be written as I dl cross B. This formula for the line current we have derived while we are deriving the forces due to magnetic field in the last class. Okay, so this will hold good for which two sides? For BC and for AD. So we can write it like this: BC plus this I dl cross B along DA. Okay, now if we write it more clearly, since this is on z axis, so these two sides are parallel to z axis, so we can write it I, and in place of dl what we will write? Dz. Since these two sides BC and AD are parallel to z axis, so this dl will be along z axis, so we can write dz and unit vector Az cross B, and this BC side is extending from 0 to L because the whole length is L, so this is extending from 0 to L. Okay, plus for this ideal cross B, this is extending from D to A, so here it is I dl, here also we can write dz, dz Az cross B, but here also we will have this I dz Az cross B, and the limit will be from L to A, 0, because from D to A we are considering. Okay, from B to C it is 0 to L, so from D to A in the opposite direction we write L to 0. Okay, so if we integrate it, so here it will be what? B, I and dz along this 0 to L limit will be L, so it is B, I, L, and it is L to 0, so if you put the upper limit, so there will be a minus sign, so it will be V, I, L, so the net force is 0. Okay, so the net force is 0, and the magnitude of this force, this couple force F0, because equal and opposite force is acting, that's why BIL minus BIL equals to 0, means there is a equal force, this F0 and F0, but acting opposite direction, so there is minus sign, the net force is 0, but it is making a couple. Okay, so this couple force, the magnitude will be this IBL. Okay, so F0 magnitude will be IBL. So this F0 and minus F0 act at different points on the loop, creating a couple. So if the normal to the plane of the loop makes an angle alpha with B, okay, this is making alpha with this B, then what will happen? The torque on the loop will be what? If we say torque on the loop, so since it has created a couple F0 and F0 minus F0, both are acting parallel to each other but in opposite direction. So the torque on the loop T will be what? T is R cross F. Okay. So this force into perpendicular distance. So force is what? Force is this F0. And if we talk about this, then W cos alpha will be this. Okay. And what is this? W sin alpha. If we try to calculate this dimension. So it is W sin alpha. Okay. So this T equals to B I L W sin alpha. Okay. And this L into W, this L into W can be written as what? This L into W is the area of the loop. Okay, length into breadth. So in place of this we can write S, that is the area of the loop. So this T can be further written as B I S sin alpha. Okay. So this is the expression for the torque. So this T is BIS sin alpha, and if we consider this IS, the magnetic dipole moment of the loop, okay, then this T can be written as T equals to M cross B. Okay, where M is what? M is current multiplied by this S, and the direction is AN. Okay, and this is called the magnetic dipole moment. This M is called the magnetic dipole moment measured in ampere meter square, and this AN is the unit vector normal to the plane of the loop. So as you can see, this AN is directed normal to the plane of the loop and perpendicular to it. This is perpendicular. Now the next topic we shall discuss is the magnetic boundary conditions. The magnetic boundary condition. Similar topic we had discussed in electrostatics also. Okay, so I will not waste much time explaining it, because you know that we need to derive the conditions at the interface separating the two media. Okay, so there was electrostatic media, means between the two dielectric or conductor and free space. Here we have the two magnetic medium with different permeability. Okay, so let's say we have the interface. Okay, and in the first region mu1 is there, magnetic material with permeability mu1, and in the second region magnetic material with permeability mu2. Okay, now we will similarly draw the, like we used to draw the D, and we used to consider the D, electric flux density and electric field density in case of the electrostatic field. So in the magnetic field we will consider B and H. What is B? B is the magnetic flux density and H is the magnetic field intensity. Okay, so this B can be resolved as tangential component B1T and this B1N. Okay, and the resultant will be your B1. Okay, and let's say it is making theta 1 angle. Okay, similarly for the second medium also we will consider the tangential component as B2T, the normal component B2N and the resultant B2. Okay, and let this is making angle theta 2. Now we will consider a Gaussian surface similar to what we considered in the electrostatic field also. So we will consider a surface half of its portion is lying in the upper medium and the next half is lying in the lower medium. And this one is your H across the interface. And let this area be del S. Okay. Now from the Gauss law for magnetic field, we have this B dot ds equals to 0. This is equation 1. And second is from Ampere's circular law. This H dot dl equals to I. Okay. This is from the Ampere's law and this is from the Gauss law. These two relations we already know. Now we have considered the boundary condition between two different magnetic media 1 and 2 with permeabilities mu1 and mu2 respectively. Now applying equation 1 to the pillbox, that is Gaussian surface. Okay, so applying equation 1 to the Gaussian surface, this surface. Okay, so if we apply this, then what we can write? This one is B dot ds. So what is B? B for the upper and lower half we have to take. So B for the upper half can be written as B, and in this direction we have the normal component in the first medium, that is B1n, and dot ds, that is dot del S. And for the lower half, the direction is pointing downward, but here this B2n is pointing upward. So we will take this minus sign, B2n dot del S equals to 0. At the interface we have considered this del H tending 0. Okay, so from here this B1n equals to B2n, means the normal component of magnetic flux density is continuous at the boundary, and since B equals to what? B equals to mu into H. This relation we already know. So if we put it, then what we'll get? This mu1 H1n for this B1n, and for B2n we can write mu2 H2n. So in this way we can have the two relations. So the normal component of B is continuous, but normal component of H is not continuous, that is discontinuous at the boundary. So here in this case it is continuous. Why continuous? Because it is equal, and here in this case it is discontinuous. Okay, in this case it is discontinuous. Now similar interface we'll consider for H also. So we can write the tangential component of H, H1T, the normal component H1N, and the resultant of the two, that is H1. Okay, and let this is making the theta 1 angle. Similarly, this is for the first medium and this is for the mu2 for the second medium of different permeabilities. Okay, similar things we are considering here. Now the normal component is H2 and the horizontal component is H2T, and the resultant of the two is H2, and let this is making theta 2 angle. Now we will consider a closed path along this interface. We will consider a closed path along this interface such that half of it is lying in the upper half and half is lying in the lower half. So A, B, C, D. Okay, A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A, and this height is del H, and this is del W. Okay, so these things are not new because we have already discussed in electric field. So here, applying equation 2 to the closed path A, B, C, D, A. Okay, where surface current K is assumed at the boundary, where the surface current K is assumed at the boundary. So there is the existence of surface current K at the boundary, and in that case we are applying equation 2, and equation 2 was H dot dl equals to I. This was your equation 2. H dot dl equals to I. This is from the Ampere's law. Okay, so this was your equation 2 that we will apply here for the closed path ABCDA. So we can write here, this current can be written as what? K dot del W. Okay, so this current, in place of current we can write K dot del W, because del W is the path. Okay, so we can write from A to B, H1T is along A to B, so we'll write H1T and dot dl. So dl is, the length is del W, so we'll write this del W. For B to C, for the upper half, this is along H1N but the direction is opposite, so we'll write minus H1N into this del H by 2. For the lower half, we will write H2N but the direction is opposite, so minus H2N del H by 2. For this CD, C to D is along H2T but the direction is negative, so we will write minus H2T del W. And for D to A, we will write D to A in the lower medium, it is along H2N, so we will write H2N and the height will be del H upon 2. And for this upper half also, this H1N is there and del H by 2. Okay, so there are various terms which will cancel out each other. So this H1 and del H by 2 will be cancelled with this, and this H2 and del H by 2 will be cancelled with this. So we are left with only two terms at the right side, H1T del W and minus H2T del W. Okay, and from here del W will be cancelled out. So we have this K del W equals to, this del W will take it common, so it is H1T minus H2T, and this del W can be cancelled out. So we have only this H1T minus H2T equals to K. So this is the condition of magnetic field intensity at the boundary with surface current density K. Okay. Now we have this relation B equals to mu H, but here it is H, so H can be written as what? B upon mu. So if we substitute in place of H1T in terms of B, so we can write it B1T upon this mu 1 minus B2T upon this mu 2 equals to K. Okay. So this shows that the tangential component of magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density both are discontinuous at the boundary. But if the boundary is free of current or the media are not conductors, no, if the boundary is free of currents, then K equals to 0. If the boundary is free of currents, okay, then what will happen? H1T equals to H2T. This H1T equals to H2T means if there is no existence of current at the boundary, then this tensile component of magnetic field intensity will be continuous, or this B1T upon this mu1 equals to B2T upon this mu2. Okay, thus the tensile component of H is continuous, while that of the B, that is magnetic flux density, is discontinuous at the boundary when we assume K equals to 0, that is the boundary is free of current.